Whoa, we are live. I hit the wrong button there. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another live stream. We're starting a few minutes early. Let me switch this over real quick. I knew I was forgetting something. Welcome. We have Reed in the house. Reed, how you doing? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Sorry about that little glitch there.
I can hear you great. Yeah. Hey, everyone.
All right.
This is my first live stream. If I make a fool out of myself, please forgive me.
Well, you don't need to worry about that. I've already done it for us. It's I think this is my third time with a guest on, so we're still getting used to all the tools. I've been switching software like crazy too, which is always fun, but I think I've landed on this one, so I just got to figure out how to use it properly now.
Yeah, well, seems like it's working good, so.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Good to see everybody here in the chat. If you are new here, this is the Apple Home Talk live stream. We do this every week, and sometimes we have guests. Today we have special guest Reed from the Smart Home Solver YouTube channel. So if you're not already familiar with Reed, definitely go check him out. Links to actually multiple channels are down in the description below because you now manage more than one just YouTube channel at this point. Isn't that right?
Yep, that's right. The second channel is like, I've neglected it a little bit lately, but yes, I'm going to try to be posting more there for sure.
Okay, nice. That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to talk and get into all that and all the stuff you're doing over on your channel and with your smart home. Let's say hi to some folks in the chat. We got George Langerbeer here in the house. What's up, George? Good to see you here, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Buddy is excited to have Reed on the stream. Thump Jimmy from Maine is here. Yeah, let us know where you're from in the chat. Southern Cal here in the house. How's the weather over there in your neck of the woods, Reed?
It's starting to warm up. I think high is like 90 degrees already, and doesn't have the humidity like you got over there, but
yeah,
it's starting to feel it already. It's coming
you've got, it's been getting hot here too. I think around 90 degrees lately, and it's a different kind of hot between South Carolina and It's Arizona, right?
Arizona.
Where you're at? Yeah, different kind of hot, dry and humid hot there versus here. So we got Netherlands in the house, India.
Sweet.
Frederick, what's up, Frederick? Good to see you here. Thanks also for helping out as a mod in the chat. We've got a lot of channel members here. Good to see everybody. Let's see, speaking of channel member, Mr. H celebrates 23 months of channel membership. Thank you for being a channel member for 23 months. I appreciate the support. Says hello using the HomeKit emoji there. So explain to everybody, Reed, if you would, kind of what you do on your channel in case, I think everybody here probably is familiar with your channel, but if not, Reed has, let me see if, as you're doing that, I'm going to see if I can get all this to work right.
Sure. Yeah. So one of the,
okay, here's this channel.
Yeah, there's the channel right there. So yeah, we here at Smart Home Solver focus a lot on like the automations, just kind of ideas to get a lot of use out of the smart home tech in your house. I mean, of course, we do reviews and all of that as well, but I think probably most people have subscribed to Smart Home Solver from just like the automation ideas that we've been doing for years. So yeah, try to like get creative and think of cool, useful automations to do around the house. And that's kind of been one of the main things we've tried to do. And of course, lots of other stuff, but.
Yeah, you do some really awesome stuff. Now you primarily use Home Assistant these days, I think, right? It seems like most of the stuff you talk about is Home Assistant, but you do a lot of product reviews. And I do like to encourage people to, anytime I'm talking about other YouTubers and stuff, like whether you're just in Apple Home or Google or whatever, or even Home Assistant, subscribe and watch like all these channels, because you might be talking about something in Home Assistant that you could very easily do, or you could maybe not easily, but you could also do in HomeKit. Or these automation ideas can kind of work on all different platforms. And I know I get a lot of awesome ideas watching your videos and other YouTubers as well. Speaking of other YouTubers, Eric Modern Day Tech is in the house. What's up, Eric? Good to see you here. 54 months of membership. Thank you, brother, for being a channel member. Can't stay because I'm traveling, but wanted to say what's up. Awesome, man. Thanks for stopping in. And let's see, we got John K. Wolf in the house. Yeah, so one thing I've noticed about your channel, and I've always admired about your channel, Reed, is just how well it's produced and shot. Do you have some sort of like past in like videography, photography, or is that a passion of yours, or is that just something you've gotten good at doing the YouTube channel over the years?
So my wife actually went to school a little bit for it. She did like broadcast journalism major, and so she knew about cameras and all that. Not to like where we're at now, but like a decent amount. I knew nothing. Like she basically forced me to start this YouTube channel. She was like,
Really?
Reed, we need to make videos. And I was like, I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to do any of this. Like, I don't like being on camera at all. I've gotten used to it now, but yeah, it just I've kind of taught myself, and then it became, now it's like my hobby. I like love, not so much photography, but like videography, like watching all those YouTube channels that explain it all, cameras, lenses, all of that. I love that. That's like one of my main things I do on the side is just watch a million of those YouTube videos, and yeah, I just enjoy it. It's just like a fun thing I like to do, but probably
Man, that's
overdo it
awesome.
sometimes. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, it's like I say, that's one of the things that's always been pretty inspiring when I watch your stuff, because I notice a lot of the just like camera angles and the cuts and things like that. I don't know that everybody necessarily notices. You notice when you see something good, you like watching it and you realize that, but you don't necessarily know why. I think a lot of people, it's kind of subconscious, if that makes any sense. But like I do have like a kind of a path. I did video editing before I did YouTube, and never a photographer necessarily, but just kind of trained to like notice a lot of that stuff. And you just do a really good job of that. So I'd say kudos.
Oh,
And
thank you. I appreciate that.
I hope
That
to
means a lot.
I hope to one day get some of my production up to up to speed a little bit. So
Oh, your videos are great too. Oh, you're nice. Oh,
I appreciate it. Let's see. Not so smart home has a question for you, Reed, if you don't mind. Says, how long does it take
yeah.
to come up with your clever, funny endings?
So a lot of times, so usually like the stuff like the endings, me and Allie will just talk about it late at night. We're hanging out, and um, it'll be either it'll come up naturally, like something that actually did happen with our family as we're like testing on a device or setting up automations or whatever, or we're just thinking of like stuff, pulling from like funny things our kids have done in the past or whatever. And so me and Allie will brainstorm and just come up with it. Sometimes she'll like come up the whole thing. Sometimes I will. And we usually just like bounce ideas off each other. So that's
Nice.
usually how it goes. Yeah.
That's cool. So it seems like your wife, Allie, is a pretty big part of the channel. How did you said she kind of forced you into
Yeah.
making videos? How did Smart Home Solver start really in the beginning, in the
So
early days?
so it was like around 10 years ago or so, we just had our first kid, and when you have like a little baby, they're just still, they sleep a lot, and we were like, hey, we want to do something on the side. And the smart home space was just kind of taking off. The Echo had just come out, and we thought, hey, let's do a smart home blog. and we'll both write articles and just try out things and try to help people with it. So that's how it started, is just like a little side thing that we were doing. And then, yeah, then it kind of like that grew. And then she wanted, had the idea of like starting a YouTube channel. I didn't really watch YouTube at that time. And so then we started posting stuff, and we didn't check like comments, subscribers or whatever. And we came back like a year later. So this is like the dumbest story.
No,
We were like,
it's awesome.
subscribing and commenting and stuff. We didn't even like look at it, like anything for like a year. And we're like, oh, we probably should like try harder at this. And so then we like actually was trying, but
And so what year was that?
so that was probably like 8 years ago or so,
Wow.
like 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was
Awesome.
like probably like 9 years ago when we first started posting, and 8 years ago when we started like being like, hey, oh, there's people watching these videos.
Might be something to this.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you guys started, did you have any intentions or maybe long-term goals for it to become what it is today? I mean, it's grown to, it's insane. You've got, let's see, it's over 165,000 subscribers, I think, or sorry, 365, 675. My numbers are all off. 700, to be exact, it's 677,000 subscribers right now, which is insane. Let me pull that up again. So did you have plans for this to become what it is today and kind of become like a, full-time job as it has?
Yeah, like we we had dreams of like, oh, hey, maybe it could grow to be something, like, but we had no idea. Like, this is like, it's just crazy. It's still like, doesn't feel real sometimes, is that like people watch the videos and subscribe and everything. Just when we were first starting, we were just kind of like, oh yeah, it'd be cool if like a few people watched it or did something, just like make a little money on the side.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we never thought like there were some people doing it at the time and that had like 30,000 subscribers, and we were like, oh, maybe one day we'll get 30,000 subscribers. That was kind of where we thought like, hey, maybe we could one day do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was about as far as we thought. Then once it started growing, we were like, oh, hey, why not? Let's just see how far, how much it could grow or whatever. So, but yeah, it's still kind of crazy. I always talk about that. We're like, what the heck? Like,
It is.
what
Yeah.
happened? Like, it's kind of nuts. So,
Yeah, that is, I mean, at over 675,000, I mean, at the rate you're going, you'll probably hit 1 million at some point. So that's insane. As long as you keep going.
yeah, that would be nuts. That would be nuts.
That is wild. Yeah, as a smart home content creator. So that's cool, man. That's really cool. It's cool to
Yeah.
see, and
Oh, thank-
you've been doing this for a number of years now. So you've definitely put in the work. So it's all certainly well deserved. How have you noticed, or what do you think about smart home specifically in content creation? Like I think I've seen a lot more smart home content creators in just the past, just since I've been doing it. What do you think about that? Have you noticed that, or do you even pay attention to any of that?
yeah, yeah. You're saying like new people that are making smart home content?
Just more content creators, more people
Yeah.
making smart home content.
It's great. I love it. Like I wish I could work with more, people getting started out, because there's a lot of great channels out there, great ideas. Because, yeah, it's awesome. I've learned a lot of stuff from. I think it's just like it's cool. It's like one big community. Everyone's kind of sharing their own like setups and ideas and everything. So the more people that are part of it and sharing like ideas and whatnot, it just helps everybody, because we can all learn from like, oh yeah, don't make that mistake, or this thing works really well. So the more the better.
Yeah, absolutely. I first met you in person at CES a couple years ago. Was it 3 years ago? Maybe now. It was my
Yeah,
first CES.
that
It was
sounds
my
about
first
right.
CES. I remember because I was like a deer in headlights, probably. It was so overwhelming, and you gave me some good advice and stuff. I always remember that. And I've noticed just in the past, maybe like 3 years, I'm sure maybe COVID had something to do with this, but like, I think that year, my first year, there was a little get together of smart home content creators after one of the events. I'm pretty sure you were there. And then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the next year, it got a little bit bigger. And then this year in January, it was like just smart home folks. It filled up an entire room. It was kind of crazy.
So crazy. Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was awesome. That was cool to see how many people there are, and yeah, I remember that. Yeah, when we first like 3 years ago when we had that, there was only like 6 of us or something. Like it was like pretty small.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's cool. It's awesome how much it's growing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Let's check out some of the comments here. I think we've seen a couple questions. Harold says, "How's the solar system working?" It's for Reed.
Working great. When the only issue I have with it is we get so dusty where I live. I live like we have these massive dust storms. You know, they call them like haboobs sometimes. You know, you see on like the movies or whatever, just massive walls of dust, and they'll get really dirty, and then it won't rain here forever, and so they're kind of a pain to clean a little bit. But that's been the only issue. And even if I don't clean it, the efficiency only barely goes down. It's not even really that big of a deal. But that's it. They've been working great.
Nice. Yeah, you're basically living in the desert there, huh?
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely the desert. Like it's like in those movies like Mission Impossible or whatever in Dubai or wherever, and there's like those big walls of dust. Yeah, those like that happens all the time. I was looking out in the backyard and like, oh my gosh, like
Wow, that's insane.
massive dust storm. So
Nice. Kevin says, "I know you both switched to Home Assistant. I'm sort of. I'm dabbling in Home Assistant. I don't know that I'd say I've fully switched, but Reed, you are definitely a Home Assistant pro, I'd say. How difficult would it be to switch for someone with limited computer programming or coding skills?"
I don't think you need that much anymore. It's gotten way better. Everything's pretty much in the UI. Like, I mean, so like probably a lot of you know this, but my background is like a full stack developer. I learned front end web development, back end database stuff, coded apps, all that good stuff. And you can really teach yourself anything. Really, the most people that are developers, programmers, or whatever, they're just good at Googling things, and they run into an issue, they'll Google how to fix it, and they know where to look and things to try, and they're just a little patient to like, hey, if I run into an issue, I'll look at how to fix it.
Hmm.
That's like you can do almost anything with Home Assistant with just like a little bit of like if you run into a speed bump, just be patient, look online. There's going to be someone out there that's run into the same thing that will tell you how to fix it. So it's not as perfectly smooth as like HomeKit or whatever, but it's you don't need to be a developer, that's for sure,
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
the basics. I mean, if you want to get like crazy, then yeah, sure. Like, and that's the problem is that uh, you know we see I'll show something and it's probably just a little too advanced, and
Yeah.
so yeah, you don't need to be a developer to do 98% of the stuff though.
Yeah, I agree. I resisted Home Assistant for a long time. I know people that watch my channel regularly probably know this, and I did make a video on Home Assistant not too long ago. Kind of just me getting started, kind of documenting the process and everything, because I'm certainly no expert. And I held off for a long time, and it has gotten a lot better, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to give it a shot now. And yeah, I like the way you said it. It's kind of like just being resourceful. If you're patient, be resourceful, you can find answers. That's what a great thing about Home Assistant is, the community. And there's just so much documentation. You can just find, I mean, you can find any and everything online, for that. You will probably lose some sleep still trying to figure some of the
Very
stuff
true.
out.
Yes.
That was, that was where I ended up. So I ended up spending just so much time just trying to do things in there. But it's nice because it does have that level of sophistication if you want to take it to just extreme levels. Some people, developers or whatever, may want to do that. You can do that, but they have definitely made it a lot more user friendly. I think they still have some room to improve on that front to make it easier for real beginners, but it has definitely come a long way for sure. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think for like people like that fall mostly HomeKit that want to just add more devices, set up a home assistant, pull in devices using the Apple Home Bridge integration or whatever, just to be able to add more devices just for that. Like
hmm
you don't need to be that technical just to be adding devices and getting more things into HomeKit. And then maybe a few more slightly more advanced, like a little more complicated automations that you can't do in HomeKit. Like
hmm
if you already have all your devices, then it could be a good alternate or like a good addition to HomeKit. But
yeah, yeah, that's where I kind of was leaning with that, and I know so many people who use HomeKit or Apple Home kind of as the front end, and then use Home Assistant sort of on the back end to do a lot of things behind the scenes, and that's kind of what I ended up doing. And sort of to that point, C Buzz says, like many people, I run Home Assistant behind HomeKit so I can bring devices into HomeKit and use their UI. How easy would it be to create a similar looking dashboard in Home Assistant so I can fully switch over? I'll leave that question to you because you've done some pretty incredible Home Assistant dashboards I've
yeah,
seen.
it's gotten way easier now. So they just pushed Home Assistant just pushed an update where you can organize, so you could already organize your devices by room similar to HomeKit, and it will just auto generate like a default. So they've had like default dashboards before, but they just put everything in there and it's kind of a pain. But now they have like a hybrid version where it will separate them by rooms, and then you can still like toggle what you want to see and what you don't want to see, similar to HomeKit. So I mean, it's all like in the UI. You just click on stuff and it just does it. So if you were coming from HomeKit to the Home Assistant, it would be really easy to use like the latest updates, those dashboard changes. And then
Nice.
even if you wanted to customize it more and do more, it's all in the UI, and it's once you learn a few little things, it's not too bad.
Yep. Nice. Yeah, I have not done any real advanced dashboards yet myself, but that is one of the things I'm still using Home Assistant for regularly is for I have a wall-mounted iPad, and I've gone through so many different dashboard apps and stuff over the years, but right now I have Home Assistant running on that
Sweet.
for my wall-mounted iPad. So
Awesome.
let's see. Yeah, I'm kind of in a weird place right now. I was using Homey Pro for home. I've talked about this a little bit on the live streams before, but I was using Homey Pro for more advanced automations. Then I wanted to see if I could do everything in Home Assistant. I knew you could. I just didn't know if I could. So that was kind of like my test to see, if I could do it. And I got Home Assistant up and running, and I just found that personally, I just Home Assistant kind of feels like homework to me. I've said this
Yeah.
before, but it I think it just depends on the way your brain works, and you being a developer or having that kind of background probably makes a lot of sense for you. And I think a lot of people kind of think that way. For me, it just felt like so much work, and so I love like the automation engine from Homey, where you could just like drag and drop. It's very visual. I was
Yeah.
like a graphic designer and stuff, so that was like right up my alley. So now I'm using HomeKit, Home Assistant, and Homey Pro all together, which is a bit ridiculous, but you know,
No,
it
that's great.
works.
That's cool.
It
You're like
works.
learning all. I mean, you're using all those platforms. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, I like using it. To me, like building automations in Homey just feels really fun to kind of tinker with and move stuff around. And then I still use Home Assistant for certain things, largely device compatibility, because there's still a lot of stuff that Homey doesn't really support. But there's a great Home Assistant plugin for Homey. So I can just bring stuff right into Homey. Of course, I can put it in HomeKit and all that stuff. So
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, even just using Home Assistant to bring devices in is awesome. Like,
yeah,
that's and I totally agree that Home Assistant can feel like work, and I get why anybody wouldn't want to use Home Assistant for that reason, because it's supposed to be just, smart homes are supposed to be just like fun,
yeah,
or like, on the side, hey, you don't want to come home from work and then have to get to work on your smart home, so
yeah.
I totally get it. I feel that way sometimes too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's how I always say that. Like, your smart home should be fun. Like, I mean, if you're at the point where you're spending this much time on it, you should at least enjoy the time you're spending on it. So,
yeah.
Brian, what's up, Brian? Brian says, got into Home Assistant after you came out with that Apple TV lighting automation. Has been a game changer. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Brian's pretty big into Home Assistant now, so that's awesome. Got inspired by some of your stuff there. Yeah, you should see that. I have a Discord server for my channel members, and I have different channels in there. I don't know if you use Discord very often, but I have different channels for like everything, different different device categories, cameras, whatever. And then I have some advanced stuff too. We've got Homebridge, Home Assistant, and since creating that Home Assistant channel, I mean, that's the most active, I think, right now in my Discord, or for a while has been. And these people are just like insane doing stuff in there that I'll pop in there and then my head starts spinning. I'm like, man, I can't even keep up. They're just doing some amazing stuff. So it's pretty cool to see.
That's awesome.
So with all the
cool.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna like that comment. Yeah, the Apple TV and Home Assistant integrate, like a lot of the Apple stuff, because it's local and everything, it just works so well, so fast and super reliable. So that it's such a great pair, like Home Assistant with Apple devices and HomeKit and everything. It works really well.
Nice. Yeah, I need to do a little bit more in terms of like my Apple TVs and stuff like that crossed over to Home Assistant. I haven't done a whole lot there. Speaking of like all these automations and stuff, how, if at all, has your approach to home automation changed over the years? I mean, you've been doing, even on YouTube, you've been doing this for quite a while.
Yeah. So when I first started, I think a lot of people go through this. It's just kind of like, ooh, what's possible? Oh, I can automate this device or whatever, or do this kind of automation. And it was just massive chaos in our house, things not working right when there's, my Allie, the kids are like, why is this happening? And so over the years, I've just gotten a lot better at dialing the automations, adding tons of conditions, and realizing that like the more smart home devices I have around the house, it can help dial in everything, because I can use different, like multiple smart home devices and sensors or whatever to like fine tune it. And so now it's a little more rare for my family to be like, whoa, this thing like is not working the way it's supposed to. And there's just tons of conditions on every automation. And so that they only run like, like exactly when they're supposed to. And so I've gotten a lot better at that. And I think my family's been happy.
Appreciates that. Yeah, that's really good advice there, using conditions. I was kind of curious too on like how you balance testing so many new products and stuff, like, because I'm sure you're testing stuff all the time and adding new stuff.
Same with you. It's like living in a test tube, at our house. And I always wish, that I had like a separate house to just test things and just like I wish that, but the only problem with that is that it's like takes away from the whole, like I wouldn't have to worry. I could get too crazy and not have to worry about like my family or whatever, like and so it would be really nice, but then it would be like it's fun to test in the house that we're living in as a family, and so like you get to like have unexpected challenges come up and whatever that like you think, oh, I figured out every way this automation could break, and then somehow, my little 2-year-old goes up and pushes some button and does something she's not supposed to.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's my family is always like, wait, what? Why are we switching this to? Why is there another this? And so I feel bad. They've been super good sports, but I always feel a little bad that they have
Yeah.
to learn something new all the time, or temporarily. It's kind of a pain.
Yeah, I can totally relate. I've thought often about that. Like you said, having a separate house would be, or somewhere where you could just test stuff would be awesome. But it's kind of a catch-22. I totally get that. I mean, there's no better test for a smart, anything, smart lock, or what I say smart lock because that was my latest issue in the house. Then if you can hear your wife cussing from across the house at your smart home tech, then that's a great test. That something's not working like it should.
Yeah, so true.
we have had plenty of those instances here in the house. And you have 3 young kids, right?
3
What are
kids,
the,
yeah.
what
Yeah,
are the
there's
ages?
10, 6, and 2. So
Okay.
they're all exactly 4 years apart.
Are
All
any of
girls.
them
So
all girls? Nice.
yeah,
Are any of them showing interest in tech or any of your smart home projects?
they yeah, they like it. It's kind of like this. It just our 6-year-old, uh she like her first words were like Alexa, because like that was like one of her first or second words, because she heard us saying it so often. So it's
Oh,
like
wow.
just been so second nature for them to like the smart home
Yeah.
tech. And so they think it's just fun, and they like it. They always think it's funny. Like they love like the robot vacuum with the claw arm. Like they were just we were having so much fun with that. And yeah, so it's I think like one day they might just naturally get into, I mean, like YouTube or smart home tech, like or some kind of tech, like could be just because it's such a part of their life. But
Yeah.
um, we're
Yeah,
just
I guess they don't know anything else really. They've literally
yeah,
grown up with
exactly.
it, right? So, yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Nice. Let's see. Checking out some of these comments here. Nestor asks, what lock do you guys recommend with HomeKey? Do you have do you use HomeKey?
Yeah, so I right now I'm using the Schlage Encode Plus, the
Mm-hmm.
one with HomeKey. Love it, and I probably will get eventually, once the new Schlage one comes out with the whatever it's called, not
Ultra
ultra
wideband?
wideband, or yeah, ultra
Yeah.
wideband. Walking up to it, that would be pretty sweet. So I would almost wait for that one if I were like in the market and you wanted a HomeKey. Wait for that one to come out. But the
Mm-hmm.
Schlage Encode Plus is awesome. So I don't where are
Yeah.
you using?
Yeah, Schlage Encode Plus was a solid. That's tried and true. I think that was one of the first, maybe the first home key lock that was on the market. I used that one also for years. Um, and yeah, the ultra wideband one should be available, I think, this year. I bet you they're
Yeah.
waiting on Apple to support the ultra wideband unlocking before they release it. I was
Yeah.
wondering.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool to test out. But yeah, I've switched out my locks a number of times. I probably need to stop doing that because my wife got locked out of the house not too long ago. She was not very happy about that. And so, anyways, I recently installed the Lockley Visage, and that one does have HomeKey.
Yeah. I was using that for a
And
little while too. I like that.
yeah, so far it's been working great. It's been better than the last 2 that I had installed on there. I tried a couple, and this one's working well. It's kind of funny because it supports HomeKey, but I literally never use HomeKey anymore because it's got like facial recognition, and then if the facial recognition doesn't work, it's got the fingerprint scanner, and literally all those things are just faster and easier than using,
Oh yeah.
HomeKey. So I'm really not even using HomeKey that much anymore, but it is capable of it. So yeah, that's the one I'm using. But
Yeah,
Schlage
I
is
like that one a lot too.
yeah,
I
and
you know,
I
when I switched to Android for a little bit, and then I had to switch to that lock because I didn't have an iPhone, and
mhm,
I really like the that Whatley. Um,
nice.
that worked really well, super
Well,
fast.
that's good to hear. Yeah, so far I've been happy with it. I was trying another one, a UniFi one that just came out, and I really wanted to like it so much, and I just had too many problems with it, and I
Mhm.
had to let it go. So hopefully I'll leave the one up there for a little while.
Yeah,
Let's see. Oh, U100. Yeah, Akara makes some good locks as well. I just wish it wasn't Bluetooth. Yeah, Akara. I like some of the Akara locks. They've got a bunch of them out there too that all support. They all support HomeKit, I think.
yeah,
So
yeah.
with all these products and stuff, I know I feel like just since I've been doing YouTube, which is not near as long as you've been doing it, there's been just more and more smart home products. Maybe that's because of Apple Home. There's definitely a lot more for Apple HomeKit than there used to be. How do you decide? And I'm sure your inbox is full all the time from companies. So like, how do you decide what products you want to cover and review and stuff like that on the channel?
Yeah, I have like a couple different like filters. One is just if it's something that I would want to like buy or use in my own house, then that's like immediately like, hey, it's caught my attention. I don't have anything like this. That's like, or I've never seen anything like this. Immediately, like, ooh, I'm very interested. Or if it's just doing something a little different than it's been done before, even if I already have that, like I just anything that's already been kind of covered, like there's been you probably get so many emails like this too. It's just like new companies coming out with same old like does the same thing as another like that's been covered before. I I'm just not interested in that. Like there's just so much smart home tech out there, like so many new devices. It's have to say no to like basically like at least 9 out of 10 things, if not a lot more. So it's
Yeah,
just kind of like what's unique and what I'm excited about could
yeah,
like, add more like functionality than I already have or whatever. Like that's kind of what,
yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of what you do as well. Or,
Yeah, I think so. It's like I said, when I first started the channel, I really always maintained a focus on HomeKit, and there wasn't a whole lot of HomeKit stuff out there, you know, even just 5 years ago. So at that point, it was like, all right, what can I just find that works with HomeKit? Nowadays, there's a lot more, largely thanks to Matter, I think, but so it's really opened up the door for things. And, like you, there's so many emails and, there's a lot of just junk for one. And then there's just a lot of products that do the same thing. And yeah, it's kind of cool because I feel like now I can kind of pick and choose like the stuff that I think is interesting or, stuff that I think the audience would be interested in. A lot of times, you can kind of gauge your audience and figure out what they might be interested in. But it's a fun time to be in smart home tech. I think
it
there's
is. Yeah. Oh yeah. So
so
much good
much
stuff.
stuff. Yeah,
I
has
know.
there
It's like
ever?
overwhelming.
Yeah, it can be. It can be. So, has there ever been a product that you were like really excited about that just ended up being a total flop?
There's been a few.
Yeah.
There's well, like so there's been, you know, the Akara hub, I think it was the M3 or whatever. I think that was that one. I was really excited about that when I talked to them at CES. They were like hyping it up, and I was like, okay, this seems pretty sweet, like all these things. And then I tried it, and I was like, oh, come on, like what's it just felt like it wasn't ready for prime time,
Hmm.
and I was a little mad.
Yeah.
So there's been stuff like that. There's been like some doorbells. I think TP Link came out with one Casa that like it was super budget and it seemed like good on paper, and there was just like things behind paywalls and just some stuff. And I was just like, oh,
Hmm.
are you serious? Like, so there's been a few like that that I've been a little let down, but for the
Yeah.
most part, like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that I try stuff out, and it just like, I'm like, ooh, this looks cool, like this sensor or whatever, and I'll try it out. I'm like, this thing doesn't even work. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just move on.
Yeah.
And I feel like, that happens a lot, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I feel your pain. There was yeah, I think with the Cara M3 hub, yeah, and there's, to your point on stuff not being ready for prime, there seems to be the case a lot. Well, often enough, maybe not a lot, but I remember when that product came out, I was pretty excited about it too, because like the Matter capabilities and all the stuff they were kind of teasing. And then I think I mentioned in my video, it's a really good Zigbee hub.
yeah,
If you,
exactly.
it's like what the other ones do. If that's what you want it for, that's what I use it for. But outside of that, at the time, it just wasn't doing much else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a recent issue with, like I said, it was a lock that I really wanted to like. I was actually working with the brand, and you've probably gotten pretty good at like filtering out stuff that just won't fly or whatever before you get your hands on it. I think I've gotten fairly good at that, but that happened with the it got through to me, and I was using this lock, and it has like the screen on the inside and everything. It's one of UniFi's new locks, and I don't want to like dog on UniFi or anything. This particular product did not work well for me for whatever reason, and I wanted to so bad, and I was like, look, I can't. I just don't have anything good to say about it because I can't get it to work. I mean, there's always pros and
Yeah.
cons. Like I'll always share the pros and the cons, right? But like there's got to be some good. I got to be able to at least use it. So
Exactly. I know. It's the most frustrating thing. Like, just like having to feel like you have to debug some of this stuff. Because what will happen is, I'll be like, tell the company, hey, this just doesn't work, and they're like, well, send us the logs. Start doing these things. Doing this. I'm like, I don't have time for this. I'm not a developer for your company. I'm not gonna
yeah.
like, fix this thing for you. And then I'm like, all right, I'm not going to cover this. And then they just like hound me. I'm
Oh
sure they hound
really?
you too. I'm like, they're just like, wait, no, help us fix this and whatever. Like, why? And it's
Yeah.
like,
Oof.
it just turns into this like, and I want to help. I want things to be better, and
Yeah.
it's so frustrating to feel like, there's just there's even a few things right now that I'm testing that some of it kind of works good, but there's some, especially like these companies, now like in the home assistant space, there's a lot of companies that can start up with like a really small team because they can use ESP Home, and it doesn't take much money or development time to create a little sensor or whatever, and it's really inexpensive. And so it's awesome. It's awesome that like, these things can, but then they also don't have sometimes as much like development behind them, and so they'll send it to me and I'll be like excited to use it, and then it like doesn't work, and then I'm like a lot of emails back and forth trying to figure it out, and
Yeah. Yeah. I've been down
it's
that
challenging.
road a time or two. And I like you. It's like you want to help, and I do always try to provide as much feedback as I can if I'm testing something because that's how they improve the products for everybody else, is that feedback. But yeah, it is frustrating. I did just get an email recently, and I can't remember who it was from. They're like, hey, the product's not ready for a few more months. We would love to send it to you so you can test it and see what you think and provide any feedback for us as we're like finishing up development and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if I don't think I have time to help you debug your device
Yeah,
as much as I would love to. So
yeah,
yeah, that's
it's definitely an issue like widespread in the technology space, is like quick to market, let people beta test it after they've bought it, and it's just like, it's just a little frustrating, I think, for
yeah.
everyone, all people buying stuff that's just like, wait, I need to like beta test this for you, essentially. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think? There's a lot more products nowadays that are hitting the market, coming to market that are not ready?
I think so. I think there's things. It's just like everyone's just trying to get there first, be the first one, which is, it's great, but it comes at a cost. Like that, sometimes just don't like. There's products that like the Akara FP2, for example, brand new technology. It's so cool. It can detect multiple people at once in different zones, and probably wasn't ready when it first came out for like where it's at now. It seems like a little more stable, and that's just like it kind of sucks because it's like it's tough. Like should they wait and like maybe it never comes out almost because it's like always never going to be perfect. Like where do you draw that line? But I don't
Yeah.
know. There's
Yeah, and then they probably do get a whole lot of user feedback once it's out,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
fix
So it speeds it
improvements.
up, like the development
Yeah.
side, so yeah, I don't
That's
know. It's
true.
tough.
And to Akara's credit and other companies like them that actually listen to the feedback, that's a good thing. So that's something that
Oh
I kind
yeah.
of look out
Yeah,
for.
the camera, oh man, that was awesome. That's something I want to like make a video specifically about. Like, so cool that they listened. I was reading, their questions on Reddit, listening to what people were saying, and then made all those
Hmm.
changes to fix it. It's so cool. Like, I
Yeah, the
definitely have a lot of respect for Akara for doing that, and more companies should totally do that.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, that was awesome. It's like, oh, they're listening, It's like literally
Yeah.
a lot of the things I was saying in my videos, and I know people on Reddit and everywhere is kind of complaining about certain things, and they actually changed like some pretty significant things, including like some of the paywall issues, and so
Hmm.
I saw there was a comment here. Let me see if I can find it. Where'd it go? Oh, I might have missed it. There was a comment about paywalls and something about YouTubers need to get together and stop reviewing products that have all these features behind paywalls. And I mean, it is one
No,
thing
I
that I
agree.
I uh, I can't stand it when especially when basic features are behind a paywall. Certain things here and there, I guess it's okay, but I will always call that out because I can't stand it. There's a few that come to mind that products that I just won't use because of those paywalls. So
Yeah. Yeah, we need to feel like we own the device. Like I get cloud storage. That's the only thing. Anything else, it's like should not be behind a paywall. Like you
yeah.
buy it, and if they're like, yeah, it's super annoying. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna crack down more on that. Like that Akara, like for example, like the Akara G5 Pro, that camera. I didn't even like you caught it in your video. I didn't even know once you changed the time, like the reaction time or whatever, or the cooldown time between like that you needed to pay for that to
Mm-hmm.
make it less than 3 minutes
Yeah.
or whatever the default was. I just saw that as like an option, like, oh, you could change that. And I didn't even try to change it just because it's like, I just didn't actually, because it didn't tell you that to make it
Yeah.
less you needed to pay. And so it was so deceiving. And I was really
Yeah.
mad once someone was like, oh, you need to pay to do that. And I was just like, I was super mad.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah,
features like that's
yeah,
absurd to be something like that to be behind a paywall. And then a
yeah.
lot of times you have a little free trial, while you're testing for
Oh,
like the subscription.
don't
So
even get me started. They'll do the free trial after the return window. That's
oh,
another thing. Like their UFI Doorbell did that. It was like, return windows are usually like 30 days. And so
oh
their
yeah, yeah,
trial was 60 days. And you couldn't like opt out of it. It just like automatically put you in it. So you're just like, oh, this is what it's supposed to work like. And then, once the 60 days go up and you're like, oh, this thing's not working like I was hoping it would. Well,
yeah,
you're stuck
yeah.
with it
That's
now, so it's so deceiving. I hate that crap.
Yeah, I hear you. Here it is. Thank you, Turin says all you smart home YouTubers should get together and stop doing reviews on products that have subscriptions or paywalls. Maybe you could make a nice difference. Yeah, there are cases. I mean, some people like security systems is a good example that I'll use a lot of times. Like some people like to pay for professional monitoring and like all these different things. I personally don't. Like I've never liked paying for professional monitoring and stuff like that. But like I can rest assure you, if there's something that I catch and I know Reed is the same, if I'm doing a review and there's any kind of paywalls, especially specific features that are behind paywalls, I will definitely call it out. Ecobee is one that comes to mind. I really love the Ecobee thermostats, but I did a video a while back on their security system because they actually have a security system where you can use their sensors and their doorbell cameras. It's a really nice, well-built ecosystem, but they had like very basic features put behind their paywall, and I was just,
Yeah,
not
I think
very happy.
I might have said UniFi Doorbell. I meant to say Ecobee Doorbell. So
Oh yeah, okay.
I think I did say UniFi. Oops.
Yeah, sorry to
say
any
Ecobee.
brands we're calling out.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was the Ecobee. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was the same thing. It's like the same like category. Their security system and their doorbell and stuff. It's like not.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. Let's see, we got some. Let's check out some of these other questions here. Noel says, Shane, you now use the UniFi Doorbell. I use at the moment the Nest Doorbell Gen 2 and a lot of Google Cams, but I want to switch. Yes, I do. I just installed it, like, was it yesterday or the day before? This week, I installed the UniFi Doorbell. So it's my first UniFi camera. I have jumped in. So
awesome.
you have the UniFi camera too, right?
I use the UniFi Doorbell. Yeah, I use a few different cameras, and I use the UniFi Doorbell. My wife doesn't like it. She says it's slow, but I like it. So
really,
yeah. For like pulling up the feed, it just takes a couple extra seconds for her.
Okay.
But I like it.
So it's staying.
She's always complaining about it.
Yeah, but I haven't been using it long enough to say for sure, but so far I like it a lot, and I've got mine connected to HomeKit through Scripted for anybody who's interested, and I'm sure I'll talk more about that. I've just got I bought all the UniFi networking stuff, was it maybe last year, and so that was kind of dipping my toe in the water there, and then UniFi actually, I guess, noticed and reached out to me, and they sent me a bunch of cameras. So I'm gonna start trying their cameras, which I've been wanting to do because every time I talk about cameras, everybody's like UniFi all the time. So it'll be nice to kind of try out some of those and see how well they work.
Yeah, it's a good standard to compare. I feel compared to other cameras, for because they do make good ones. They are a little expensive, but it's a good range. I feel to compare against.
Yeah, nice.
UniFi's always been the cameras and doorbells, just kind of the standard
kind of
things,
a gold
if they're
standard.
Better or worse. Yeah, exactly. It not necessarily is the best, but something to compare it with. Okay, because they're that's how I view them, anyways.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying out some more of them. Brian says, when you started your smart home, what were your expectations, and have those evolved over time? Reed, you want to answer that?
Yeah, when I started, it was just 2 little smart bulbs, and it was the best thing ever that they turned on when the sun went down, and our little dog wasn't in the dark by herself, and you'd come home, and so it was this is amazing. And over time, you just kind of get used to some of the things, and it's always just looking for that next. But as long as my smart home stays invisible to my family and just running seamlessly in the background, that's just that's how I want it to always be. It's just something that's running in the background. You can kind of forget about it, and yeah, that's
nice. Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I think most of us start with just some little camera or some smart bulbs, and then you're you kind of get bit by the bug. So I didn't have much expectations. I had no idea I was going to be into it like I am now. One thing that hasn't changed is that I've just always really liked to tinker with stuff a little bit, not Home Assistant level tinker, but just moderately tinker. you know, if I can get it to turn on with my phone and stuff like that. So I've always really just enjoyed doing that and kind of troubleshooting things and so that's not changed at all. And yeah, I'm still having a blast. It's funny kind of how you talk about getting real crazy and carried away. You were talking about earlier with your smart home. I kind of feel like that's where I've been, not, fairly recently. I've just had so many products, been testing. My smart home was kind of like a mess. Just between testing products, stuff that was not working or that I'm not even using anymore, a lot of stuff I was not using, you know. And so I've really been making an effort lately to kind of do like you're talking about for your family and for everybody, is to just kind of remove all the stuff I'm not using or not testing anymore, clean it up real well, make it invisible. I like how you put that, make it invisible for your family, and kind of go back to the basics. And I've always really liked to keep things simple, but that kind of got away from me, I think, in the past like maybe year or so. And so I'm
So
trying
easy to
to,
do.
yeah, it is. It is, especially when you're just trying to make new videos and testing new
Oh yeah,
products. And like I'll set up
yeah.
an automation or something and then like make a video and then forget about it and it's still there and somebody's like, "Why are my lights turning off?" And yeah,
So
it's
true.
so I've been really trying to kind of clean that up a little bit lately.
Yeah, I'm always a little jealous of people that have a smart home that don't need to make YouTube videos about it, because they can do
Mm.
exactly what they want to do and they don't have to have like things thrown into their smart home, like a wrench thrown in with like a new device you have to test out or whatever. Because it adds up and it can just be an out of control mess if you're not
Yeah.
careful. And that's happened to me like so many times. And so yeah, it's so easy to have that happen.
Yeah, I hear you. That's funny when you say that. I think of like getting new products and being jealous of people who don't maybe do YouTube. Like I've got, and I'm sure you feel the same way. I've gotten so used to getting a new product, and a lot of times I'm so excited to open it and try it out, but I can't because I have to wait until I set up my camera, and then I gotta like film the unboxing. Like every now and then there's a product that I get or I just buy for whatever reason. I just want it and I don't have to film it. And it is just like the best feeling to be able to open something up, not have to film it and everything. And, it's kind of like Christmas on those days.
So true. Yep. Yeah, I just did one of those like the other week. It was awesome. I was like thinking about filming it and I was tired and it was late and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna
Just
set
have,
it up. I'm just gonna
yeah,
set it
just
up. And it was great. It was fun.
nice. Yeah, just enjoy it. I hear that. That's awesome. Mushu has a question for Reed. Says, "What's one area of your home that still needs smart tech, whether it's tech that doesn't exist or you haven't upgraded yet?" That's an interesting
Ooh.
question. Is there anything
Yeah.
that doesn't exist yet that you'd like to see?
You know, there's a few things. I was thinking about this. Um I there's always going to be like crazy new tech, but one thing I would really wish to have is just no batteries, no sensors with a battery, like everything that could like somehow be plugged in or solar or whatever. I don't know, but like just I don't. I've kind of switched over to like rechargeable batteries on a lot of sensors, and that's been great. But just replacing batteries is like one of the worst things ever. And just worrying about it. Oh, like I get such battery anxiety, like with my phone and other devices, and so just being like, oh, that thing, I can't really fully rely on it because the battery might die, and I just forget about it or something. So that would be a huge one if all my sensors, like contact sensors, somehow if they were like an easy way to make no batteries. And then a space in my house that's not really smart. That's a tough one because I've kind of gone crazy in like most.
Yeah, it's probably not much
There's
left.
yeah, there's not really a whole lot left, but there's probably like places that I could get better at. Um, like maybe like my kids' rooms, like maybe spend a little more time, like making some stuff for them. But that's that's probably the space that's
Nice.
neglected the most.
Yeah. Sounds good. Well, we have hit an hour. Before we wrap up, is there anything next? What's next for Smart Home Solver? Any big projects you want to talk about or share? Anything coming up you're excited about?
I don't know. So we did I don't know if it's frozen. I've done some tours in the past, like smart home tours,
Yeah.
and I wanna get back to that. They're like pretty time consuming and everything, but so much fun. I get a lot of feedback saying people like those and want to see them again. So that's something that I might try to get back to this year, like do some more of that. So
Nice.
that'd be a fun thing to do, but
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
those are always really cool to see how the people are automating their smart homes. So many
Yeah.
clever people out there doing just unique stuff, and it's all different to how you live. Everybody lives their lives differently. That's what I love about interacting with people here in the stream and on Discord and everything like that.
Mhm.
Is you can kind of see and talking to you, and people all have different needs and live their lives differently, and so you can customize your smart home to work for you. So it's really cool to see. I'll be looking forward to that, man. I appreciate you hanging out and
Thanks.
stopping by the chat
Yeah.
today, taking time out of your busy schedule. Everybody, if you're not already subscribed, definitely go subscribe to the Smart Home Solver. We got to get him to 1 million. It's coming. It's coming. I
Yeah,
know it's coming.
yeah, that'd be crazy. Yeah, it's been so fun to chat with you, to see all the comments and everything, and be here. This is fun. I've never done a live stream, so
Awesome, man. Well,
maybe it's not not to do it more in the future or something.
yeah, we'll definitely have you back sometime, man. Again, I appreciate it. It's not so scary once you get going. It was really intimidating when I first started doing live streaming, but just jump in head first. That's the way I do it. And I've been doing it a couple years, and I still screwed up the beginning of the stream, so my countdown. So, well, we'll have to do it again, man. We'll leave on this note. Frederick said it would be great to see a collab with Miss Whatley and Miss Kleinman. That would be awesome. So
That'd be good. Yeah.
I've been working
Yeah.
on trying to get my wife on camera a little bit more. So maybe one day we'll do something.
Hey, we should do that as like a collab with the wives. Yeah, that'd be fun.
It'll probably turn into an hour of them ranting about all the stuff we've been doing to our smart homes.
I know. Yeah, that might be dangerous.
That's right. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in today, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Reed, have a good one. Thank you.
Hey, thanks. You too. See everyone.
Bye.